Hello. Hello, Essay. Good afternoon. Did I just say good afternoon? That's so weird. Good evening. How was your day? How was your day? Good afternoon from me and these gigantic pimples on my head. It was fine. It was fine. Thanks for asking. So, I don't know. Let's just give you 1 minute and then we can I guess we can start today's class. So, like I said in the group, we're going to wrap up the protective style class, and then we're going to talk about the hair growth challenge and my how I intend for it to roll it out, so that everybody can take advantage of it and you know we achieve our goals, which is for us to grow our hair. So yeah, let's just wait for like 1 minute and then we can start today's class. Hello, Egosa. How was your day? Okay. Hello. Good evening. How was your day? So sorry. We talked about you trying to change the time on Saturday, but so far, 8 o'clock is still the best time for me. But I guess in the coming weeks we'll see what we can do about you know, maybe trying to, yeah, maybe by like 6, right? But it probably won't be like all the time. It would be um on some days, and then if the time is going to change, then I would announce it in the group so that we can try as much as possible to carry everybody along. So I think our 1 minute has expired, so we can just go straight to class. So last week I talked about protective styling. I talked about the types of protective styling, benefits of protective styling. It was quite a detailed class. So you can just catch up on last week's video to get up to speed on where we are now, and then so that you feel sort of lost when we're dealing with today's class. So, as usual, you guys have your questions ready. Please just converse with me because also part of what we're going to be doing today is that we're going to be talking about the hair growth challenge, and I kind of want to hear your feedback. Okay, so the thing is, it's a challenge, so it's not meant to be easy. That's why there's challenge inside. But I just want to hear everybody's thoughts, at least everybody that is live, so that we can make it work for everybody. So, um, but I just need you guys to just put it at the back of your mind that, as with everything, the more effort you put into it, the more, results or the better results you are actually going to get from it. So, if you take this seriously, you might actually be able to achieve, for some people, you might be able to achieve more growth but just this last 1 month and a half, right? Before the year ends, then you actually achieved the whole year. And then for some people, it's just be like an extra 1 inch, or but it will be something, right? So that's the idea, that we get something before the year ends, right? Because people tend to think that by the time we've got into October, November, December, the year has already ended, can't really achieve anything. I'm not of that school of thought until the very last day of the year. Whatever it is the year has to offer me, I will squeeze it out. Sorry, excuse me. So Yeah, so let's go straight into the class and then we can start talking about the hair growth challenge. Yeah. Before I am doing all them aspire to perspire. Okay. So basically, right, for today's class, we're just going to be talking about the do's of protective styling, the do's and the don'ts. Um, Especially when you have like different hair conditions, right? Like scalp, when you have scalp issues or when you have you know you have issues with your hairline, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So these are the things that you absolutely should be doing when you have protective styles on, and some of them are kind of dull, but you'll be surprised the amount of people that don't know that you shouldn't skip this when you have your protective style, prior to your protective style, when your protective style, your protective style. So it is so important, right? If you've done everything right when it comes to installing your hair, moisturizing your hair during the protective style, your takedown is just as important as putting the hairstyle in. It is so, right? So you should be gentle when you're taking it down. If you guys remember the class that we had on the hair detangling, right? I talked about how I always never work on dry hair, and I kind of explained to you guys the process that I use to detangle my hair. Same thing kind of applies when I am also, you know, um, taking down a style like maybe braids, Ghana weaving, whatever it is, right? You always have to be gentle. I would advise you should never try to take down a style when your hair is dry. And I would also advise that you should probably not add only water. There should be some sort of conditioner, or at the very least, there should be oils added to the water, like conditioning oils, to just help to make your hair softer. But I think conditioner works better when you're taking down your hair. If not a conditioner, then you can probably just go with a detangler, right? Or you can DIY your detangler. But you should take down your hair very gently, because some people, right, they've actually, you would notice that when you, maybe if you have braids on, right, you would notice that there's undergrowth. And then when you take down your hair, you notice that there's no is you have to deep condition your hair before and after the protective style. So especially if it's a long-term protective style, I'm saying especially, but even if it's a short-term protective style, deep conditioning is like one of the, I don't know, slept on, yes, I'll say slept on secrets for um really retaining length, like seeing them inches. And I feel like people don't take advantage of it. Most people, when they say they want to grow their hair, the first thing that they want to do is they want to get a hair growth oil. But deep conditioning helps to really impact nutrients in your hair strands, right? It helps to impact nutrients in your hair strands, and it's deeply penetrating. So it's going to all the innermost parts, right? While you're leaving conditioner and your hair oils and all those things, because of the process of application, it may not really enter into like the innermost layer of the hair, but your deep condition is going to have all the time that it needs to really penetrate the hair and give it all the nutrients. Oh, snap. Okay. Guys, I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if I'm still live. Just let me know in the comments if I'm still live. I got like a notification about the. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Thank you. All right. So yes, as I was saying, so deep conditioning is so important. So you should do it before you install the style and after you install the style. Very important. Now the kind of deep conditioning treatment you do, right, will also depend on, you know, the length of the style, like how long you had that hairstyle in. So if you did like a long-term protective style like braids where you carry for like 6 to 8 weeks, right, depending on your hair type, you should probably do something strengthening, right? Or like you should be very thorough. You should probably do like a 4 5 step um hair care routine right after your deep conditioning, and then probably before. But it just depends on your hair type. I think what I'll try to do is maybe take them one by one, but let me just run through this first. So yeah, you need to deep condition before and after. And then during the period of your protective style, whether it's a protective style without extensions or it's a protective style with extensions, right? You should be moisturizing your hair regularly. So that is anywhere from 3 times, 3 to minimum once a week. So 3 times to 1 time within every 7 days, you should be moisturizing your hair, right? So depending on your hair's porosity, depending on how much access you have to the style, and then your weather, right? that should that should you should use that to determine the frequency of your moisturizing. So now when I say moisturizing, I'm talking about like the LOC method. So we have our liquid, which can be water or like a herbal tea. We have our leave-in conditioners, we have creams and oil. So you need to do your whole layering process, and you need to do that regularly, right? So most times people tend to ask these questions, especially when they have extensions in, like, oh, do I still need to be moisturized? Yes, you need to be moisturized. So yeah. So the next thing is regular scalp massages when carrying protective scalp. Yeah. As far as you have access to your scalp, move that jiggle jiggle wiggle 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 baby. So why is this important? Because blood flow or increased blood flow to your scalp is one of the major things that actually helps to boost hair growth, right? Because the blood carries nutrients that help to feed the follicles, right? So if you're eating right and your lifestyle is right and you're probably taking like 1 or 2 hair vitamins because you want to see hair growth, right? One of the things that you can do to help to get all those nutrients to your follicles where they are needed to help to promote hair growth is to actually do scalp massages, right? And then it's like a double whammy. It's like no space. Like your hair must grow if you're doing it with like a potent, herbal oil, because the herbs have, the nutrients that they are delivering to your scalp, to your follicles, and then your blood too also has nutrients that is delivering to your follicles. So that's where you have situations where one follicle is giving you like multiple healthy strands of hair. So these are the things that you are doing. This on the um would I say subdermal level, right? These are the things that are happening when you're doing all these things that is causing your hair to grow and is causing your hair to be thicker, right? So very important that you keep scalp massages during your protective style. It doesn't matter what kind of protective style you're doing. And then next one is you have to protect your ends. So I think we've heard this several times. Our ends are the oldest part of our hair. They are very susceptible to knots, to tangles, and to split ends, right? And I've talked about in my trimming class, I talked about why it's so important for us to be on top of those things, because they lead to breakage and they're taking out your length without you knowing, right? So one thing that you can do to help to reduce split ends and reduce the breakage that split ends and not cause is for you to actually protect your ends, right? And you can do this in 2 ways. You can protect your ends by layering moisture on them, because like even if you're low porosity, you probably need heavier butters even if you're low porosity. So personally, this is something I have done and I've actually seen really nice results for it. So my hair doesn't like protein because it's low porosity. So I don't use protein as often. But guess what? When it comes to my ends, I use protein just on my ends more regularly than I do on the whole of my hair, because I understand that my ends are older. My ends, their porosity has kind of changed over time because of the damage, just mechanical wear and tear. So they need the extra strengthening effect that protein gives, right? So you need to pay extra care. You need to pay extra attention to your ends. Because if you really think about it, even though your hair is growing from your scalp, right? You retaining length is more dependent on the ends of your hair than it is on your scalp. Yes, your scalp is very important, but think about it in this context. So you know when people say I cut my hair and it was growing and it got to a point and it stopped. Did it actually stop growing? No, it didn't stop growing. It's just you stopped retaining length. So does that not mean that you stopped retaining length because your ends started breaking off at the same rate that they were growing? So that's why taking care of your ends during a protective style, before you install the protective style and after you take down the protective style, is so important for actually seeing length retention and growth, right? And then I kind of talked about this during the last class, which was the fact that you need to give your hair regular breaks. You can't be doing back to back braids, back to back Ghana weaving. Just you're taking one out, you're putting another one in, you're taking one out, you're putting another one in. It will thin out your hair, it will cause tension because adding these things to your hair normally they weigh on your hair. So you have to kind of schedule your hairstyling such that maybe if you're doing a long-term protective style where you're adding extensions, you should pair it with like another 2 to 3 months of you actually doing hairstyles where you're not adding extensions, or maybe if you want to give it a break with wigs, do wigs where you're just placing you're not adding extra extensions to it, and then come back and do like braids or any other style that involves adding extensions. Or if you do, maybe you do like mini braids or like medium sized braids, you can give your hair a break by doing like an updo, because an updo you probably not be using as much extension that is putting so much tension on your hair. But just find a way to mix and match doing hairstyles with extensions, putting tension on your hair and breaking the hair that you're trying to grow. So those are the do's for protective styling. Now we're going to go to the don'ts of protective styling. So like I was saying, you definitely absolutely should not run after hair trends, right? So something comes up, it's looking really pretty, we're girls, we've all been there. You see one very madder style on somebody and like, well, this thing will look nice on me, I want to try it, that is absolutely allowed. But you have to also ask yourself, okay, this thing looks nice on this person, but if I do it on my hair, this is my hair that I have on my hair, this is my blessed hair that God has given me. If I do it on this my hair, will he cut it or will he not cut it? Like I feel okay. I don't know if you guys can hear me. I had another interruption again. But as I was saying, even if you want to do something that's trending, I think it's best to do a version of it that works for your hair. So this mini twist, I talked about it last week, right? This very very mini twist where they use these coily extensions, right? So if you're going to do that style and you're someone who has low density fine hair, I would advise that you probably get it done really short, and it shouldn't be as voluminous as other people, right? Because of the reasons that I mentioned last week, your hair can't handle that. And then where people are wearing that hairstyle for like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 3 months, I don't think you should wear it for longer than 3 weeks, because your hair can't handle that type of tension. Your hair can't handle that type of pressure. So that way, you are adjusting the trend to what works for your hair. Let me be honest, right? There are very few hairstylists that will tell you these things that I'm actually telling you right now, because most people do for the masses. Any hairstylist that is learning how to do a hairstyle is learning how to do it for the masses. They're not learning it for you. So if you come in and you say you want to do the hair, they might just say, "Oh, okay, oh, because of your hair, I will not be able to do this well." But they don't. They're not thinking in the context of, "Oh, okay, oh, this person wants to do this hairstyle, but this person does not want their hair to cut when they do the hairstyle." You understand? So it is something you have to think of for yourself and know that, oh, okay, this thing is trending. Will it be good for me? Is it worth it? Because I don't know why I will spend money, buy products, spend my time, do my hair, take care of myself. Okay, even if I'm not doing the hair by myself, I spend money, I go to the salon, and they take care of my hair. My hair is growing, and then I would trade that all away for one hairstyle that I would wear for tops 2 months. It's not worth it. I don't know. You guys, let me know. Is it worth it to lose your hair over like just one hairstyle that's going to trend for tops 3, 4, 5 months, and you're going to wear once, and after you wear it one time, you'll probably be tired and you'll not do it again. So that's how I feel we should handle trends so that we don't have our hair damaged. So excuse me, in the long run. So yeah, thanks, Favor. It's not worth it. So don't keep your hair in a hairstyle. So don't keep in a hairstyle that's hurting you or putting tension on your edges or any part of your scalp. Beauty is not pain. I repeat, beauty is not pain. I don't know where that idea came from. I will say it came from the pit of hell and it needs to go back to that pit of hell where it came from, because I repeat, beauty is not pain. You don't have to put yourself through anything that will cause you pain to make yourself beautiful. In fact, one of the reasons why I chose to go natural, because I went natural before the whole natural hair craze and everything, right? Was because every time I relaxed my hair, it go roast my scalp. I was tired, man. I was tired. I was having lesions. I was having burns. My scalp will be bringing out liquid because my scalp is really sensitive. And I'm just like, why now? I changed relaxers several times. I did everything. I took all the advice. I did all the things. Pull powder, pull this. Find a way to install a style on you that it's not giving you too much pressure. It's not giving you too much headache, right? Beauty is not pain. If something has to put you in such a difficult position just for a style that you're going to take out within, it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. So another thing is you shouldn't neglect your scalp. So I kind of talked about it previously in the do's, right? But some people, when they have hairstyles on, they just forget that, okay, you know, they have to take care of their scalp. Now, let me explain what is actually going on in your scalp when you, just as a living, breathing person. So, you know how, as a normal person, when you take a shower today and you probably don't take a shower till tomorrow evening or something, you notice that your skin is kind of clogged up. It's, sweaty. And for people that have oily skin, you notice all your pores are all oily and stuff like that, right? So that is happening on your scalp every day. Now, if you remember, we talked about sebum that is produced on the scalp. The highest amount of sebum is like sebum is produced all over the skin, by the ways, but the highest amount of sebum is actually produced on the scalp, right? Because it's there. The scalp has more hairs, so the sebum on the scalp is there to actually nourish the hairs, right? The more hairs that are there. So your scalp is a whole ecosystem that is constantly producing oils. You will sweat because there's always heat being generated there. You sweat, so there's oils. There's something called an acid mantle that is created on your scalp that is supposed to help to, keep bad bacteria out and just keep the ecosystem of your hair all right and healthy, right? The thing is, because of the sebum that is being produced every day, because obviously you're not washing your hair every day, it's going to cause buildup and it's going to clog up, right? And it's going to tilt the ecosystem, the balance, the equilibrium of your scalp. So cleaning your scalp regularly, right? So if you're not washing your hair, you can just actually do something to clean your scalp, right? You can use maybe like aloe vera spirit, you can use like a cotton wool to just dab out the excess oils. But I would not say you should, I would not advise you to dab out the excess oils because that's literally liquid gold on your hair. So there's this method called scritch and preen, where you actually manually use your nails to, scratch out the oils, because sebum is sort of thick and waxy. So you manually use your nails to scratch out sebum, and then you apply to your hair strands, right? So you can actually do that. You can use something like aloe vera or aloe vera juice, aloe vera gel, right? Because it's acidic. And then you can spray that to your scalp and then do that scritch and preen method. And that helps to unclog your scalp in between the times when you're not washing your hair. So scalp care is important, right? So next one is don't wear protective styles with extensions back to back, especially lengthy extensions. Give your hair a break and rock short-term protective styles without extensions. That's somewhat similar to the first one. So yeah. Now the next slide talks about the don'ts for your scalp if you have scalp issues, protective styles to avoid if you have scalp issues. So you should avoid styles that restrict access to your scalps. Glued frontals, updos, packing gels, glued wigs, and ponytails. You should avoid those styles because you don't have access to your scalp, right? And if your scalp flakes, you probably need to cleanse it more regularly than people that their scalps don't flake, right? So you can instead do glueless wigs, you can do twists, you can do braids, bantu knots, cornrows, and crochets. Just stuff where it's very easy to access your scalp, and if you need to apply treatments to your scalp, you can easily access it. Sorry, excuse me. Right. So now, um, protective styles to avoid if you have traction alopecia. I mean, I think this one is pretty obvious, but let's still talk about it. So you really need to be avoiding styles that put any tension, on the hairline of your hair, anything that's going to pull your hair back, right? Because if you already have a weak hairline, then you should really, really, really be avoiding any form of tension because this is caused by something what we call traction alopecia, right? It's basically just tightness that is weighing on your follicles and then it leaves them dormant, or in some cases it can actually just permanently kill your hair follicles. So even though you are treating your hair by giving it all these nutrients with your hair oils and all the things that you're doing and your scalp massages, you need to first take away the poison, right? The poison, which would be the tension. So you really should avoid hairstyles that are, causing tensions on your hairline. And if your hairline has gotten to the point like this where it is this bad, then you should actually go extreme. You should actually go extreme. You should not even say, okay, I'm doing all back, but it's not tight. You should go extreme and probably just cut out some hairstyles for a period of time until the hair starts coming out. Then maybe you can now start introducing. I would advise to never even do anything that has tension on it, but you can now start introducing styles that are a little bit risky. But if it has gotten this extreme, you need to give your hair at least 6 months to a year before you can restore it to a very good place, right? Can it be restored in a shorter time for other people? Or if for some people, yes. But generally, give yourself 6 months to a year. And this is where a lot of people make that mistake because they expect that within 1 month, their hair is going to have recovered. That damage did not take place in 1 month. How is it going to recover in 1 month? For some people, the damage that gets their hair to this point, it took place over 6 years. It took place over 5 years, right? And then they want one product that is going to help to nourish that part of the hair, regrow that part of the hair, and have the hair just go back in in 2 months, right? And then they don't see the results that they expect to see, and then they get discouraged and they just decide that no, this thing isn't working. But it took a lot to get to that level of damage, so it's going to take a while to backpedal and restore the hair, right? So just realistic, honest feedback when it comes to that. So that's the end of the slides. That's the end of the protective styling for hair growth and length retention. So we're just going to go straight in and we're going to talk about the hair growth challenge. But before we talk about the hair growth challenge, if you guys have any questions, please just drop them so that I treat the questions before we start talking about the hair growth challenge. I'm not going to spend too much time. I'm just going to get kind of brief you guys on how it's going to go. So if you guys have any questions, just um, type them in the comments. Just let me know. So just type them. Let me start talking about. So because there's going to be DIY involved, right? Because you guys, if you guys remember, I said I was going to give you guys some DIY recipes. If you don't want to do DIY, of course you can always get my products, right? But they are going to be DIY recipes. And I'm going to start posting the videos for the DIY recipes this week. I thought about it and I felt it made best sense to actually just have short, simple videos that you guys can watch over and over again for the DIY recipes instead of doing it live. So those recipes are going to come up this week, and then you can try to source for the things that you need to make the recipes. And if you want to get products, you can reach out to me to get products, right? And if you need to be advised on what products you need to get, like a consultation and everything, you can reach out to me. I can help you with that, right? So this is how it's going to go. I'm going to be involved. Even me myself, I think I mentioned it to you guys. Myself, I want my hair to grow, so I'm going to be involved, right? And like I said, it's a challenge, so it's not going to be easy. But we need to get those inches before the year ends. Yes. Okay. So, anyways, we're going to be having weekly washes, right? So we're going to be washing our hair every week. Yeah, I know. Yes, we're going to be doing weekly washes. And for the recipes, the DIY recipes that I'm going to be giving, there's going to be a recipe for shampoo, there's going to be a recipe for herbal mask, right? So everybody said they wanted growth. Most people said they wanted growth, and people said they wanted, so like, that's length, right? They wanted longer hair. Most people said they wanted longer hair, and the other set of people said they wanted like a better hairline. So I'm going to factor that in for the recipes that I'm going to be dropping. So I'm going to be dropping recipes for people that, oh, they just want to grow their hairline. And I'm also going to be dropping recipes for people that want longer hair. So obviously they're going to need stuff that would help to strengthen their hair so that it's not breaking as much. Just keep a perfect moisture and protein balance, strengthen the hair, and have the hair retain all the length that it needs to retain. So all those recipes, like I said, I'm going to drop them along the week. But we're going to be washing our hair on a weekly basis. And then alternatively, right? So let's say this is the first week. So if we're doing like an Ayurvedic mask on the first week, then the next week after the wash, instead of doing an Ayurvedic mask, we'll probably be doing like a moisturizing mask. So 1 week Ayurvedic mask, 1 week moisturizing mask. Like I said, all the recipes I'll drop them. 1 week moisturizing, 1 week Ayurvedic, like that. And then we're going to be doing weekly washes like that. The challenge is going to last till the end of the year, right? So that's more than 4 weeks. It's about 6 weeks. Yes. It's going to last to the end of the year. So we're going to, before we start, we're going to share our current place where we are right now with our hair, and we'll keep track of everything that we're doing every day that we're supposed to do our scalp massage. We're going to use the group as a form of accountability to keep track of doing everything that we need to do. Yes, okay. Trade is actually a nice style if it's not tight, right? If it's the person isn't putting tension on your hair, thread is a very, very nice style for length retention. So if you're okay with, rocking thread back to back, it's not tight on your hair, and then you're doing all the other things that I mentioned in previously about like the do's for protective style, then more power to you because you're going to be retaining some good length. Okay, so yeah, and then for the hair, hair growth challenge, right? We're going to be doing scalp massages 3 times a week, right? 3 times a week is the perfect number. You Most people think every day, no, but 3 times a week it gives your hair just the right boost where your body doesn't get used to the stimulation, right? Your body doesn't get used to the stimulation, so it gives the highest potency and effectiveness. So 3 times a week, right? This is science. We're geeking it out here. So we're going to be doing herbal scalp massages. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to share the videos and everything for that. And then there's also we're going to be moisturizing with like a hair tea, herbal hair tea. Recipe is going to be there. And, like I said, if you want to use a product, they're available for sale for you guys to get them, but there'll be DIY recipes for those that can't do DIY recipes, can get our products, and then it will also you can it will help you too during the challenge and all that. So, and then we're going to be taking care of our ends. We're going to be making sure we'll probably do like a small trim for people that need to trim their hair. We'll probably trim before the challenge starts, right? So we're starting on a very clean front, right? And then we're going to also take extra care of our ends so that we are retaining every length that we're getting, right? So more details will be passed on the group. I don't know if anybody has any more questions. Let's hear it. So I'll just take questions and then we can call it a day. So you can ask questions with regards to the challenge, and then ask questions with regards to today's class. And also, you know, I always say this. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. You probably know several women in your life that need these tips. So share with them so that they can learn and grow their hair better and all that. So don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Yes, subscribe, encourage me. So I think um, since we started these classes, I've added like I think 10 or 11 subscribers. And I'm really excited about that. Like 11 old people. So I'm really grateful for you guys, right? Really, really grateful that you guys show up here every time. I really enjoy the fact that when I'm talking, I'm not just talking to myself. I have you guys asking me questions. And I really look forward to us growing and, just having more people and, literally us growing in number, but not just growing in number. How our hair is growing, our everything is just growing. We're just popping like that. I look forward to that. So, in the absence of any questions, I'm going to be ending the live. So, okay. Okay. So you remember I was saying that your ends are like the oldest part of your hair, right? So two major reasons. Your ends might actually need like extra treatment. They might need like a protein treatment or an extra moisturizing treatment. And then your ends might also need a trim. So sometimes what causes that extra dryness is actually the fact that you have a lot of knots, you have a lot of split ends, and they're just rough. So they make it harder to so I'm seeing you're saying your siblings' hair are not like that. So just because your siblings doesn't mean that you guys have the same type of hair. Now I'm a bit confused. I'm not sure what I was assuming before that you're just talking about normal ends being rough and dry, but now that you're saying in comparison to your siblings, it's a bit difficult for me to know exactly what you mean. But I do have to say this though, even though your siblings and you people share, you know, the same mother and the same father, genetic makeup and all that, right? You people don't have the same hair type. Your hair is as unique to you as your fingerprint. So, for example, I have pitch black hair. Uh, Sorry, guys, the light's going to come on soon. So, as I was saying, I have pitch black hair, and my sister has brown hair, and we're siblings. So, you will not have the exact same type of hair that your siblings have just because they're your siblings. Your hair is unique to you. So whatever hair type you have to know how to handle that hair type for it to thrive and for it to grow. I hope that makes sense. But you can still check those things that I said. You might need a trim. You might just need to show your ends a little bit of extra love and care. And I think I have one or two videos on my page about things that you can do to help to take care of your ends so that they're soft, they're clean, they're not knotted, they're not dry, and things like that. So, in the absence of any more questions, can we call it a night? Like I said, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share. And thank you guys so much for joining the class. I think I'll just give it like another 30 seconds and then I can end live. Just so sometimes I end the live and then I notice that there's somebody drops a question. So I don't want that to be the case today. So that's why I just want to give that extra 30 seconds. So yeah, who's excited about growing some inches before the year ends? I am excited. Are you guys excited? Let me know in the comments. I'm really excited. I'm stoked, right? I want to maximize all the inches that I can get before this year ends. So I'm really looking forward to it. And then I think more than, obviously my own growth, I'm also really looking forward to, you know, everybody else having like amazing before and afters and everybody's hairs growing. Like I'm actually excited and looking forward to that. It'll be so fun. So yeah. Yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait. So I'm just glad going into this new week because I know it's going to be amazing and everybody, everybody's hair is going to grow. Yeah. So all right then. I'm going to end the live. So because I can't see any questions, so it was really nice teaching you guys tonight. Thanks for coming. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.